All right. We're now recording our today's discussion. So I would like to focus on the experimentations that we needed to perform before discussing to you the lecture ones by next week. For now, since we're already done with the first experiment, short introduction about the first macro, your first macro. Today, I would like to teach you how to record your first macro for experiment number two. And I will also explain to you how do we analyze and modify the recorded macro as part of the experiment number three. So let's first discuss the experiment number two. Basically, I would like you to learn the following. So we needed to understand how we could record XLBB macro. And we should also be familiar with the different tools and functions of recording macro. And I will teach you how to record a basic Excel BB macro. Alright. So these are basically some of the instructions or directions that we needed to do, but I would like to demonstrate to you this one in actual. Alright. So but you can actually follow the simple instruction that I have provided here in experiment number two. Again, in order for you to do that, you just have to open Excel file. Alright. So I'm using version 2013. If you have higher versions, it's fine. If you have 27 version, it's also okay. Alright, so i-mute natin yung iba nating classmate. Yan. Alright. So that he or she will not disturb us. Okay. So again ha, for the benefit of others, kailangan po naka-open yung developer tab. So in my case, it's in the customize ribbon. Then I just check the developer tab. Alright. In the developer tab, you can easily here see the record macro. Just have to select the record macro. Alright. And then you can specify what macro name you would like to use. Say for example, my first macro. And then the shortcut key you can specify. So say for example, I put here R. So when you type Control Shift R in your keyboard, it will do the macro program that you will record right now. And then what workbook it will record, in our case this workbook, so the current workbook that I'm currently working on. Then you can put a short description here. So for example, this is my first macro, changing the background to yellow, so for example like that. And then you just have to put your name if you would like, designed by engineer Rionel Aldo. And then the date today, so for example, March 5, so that you could remember. And you just have to simply press OK button. When you press the OK button, you are now currently recording what you are doing. Everything that you will do will be recorded. All right. So, say for example, I just would like to record changing the color from here. So I'll just make a simple diagram or a simple shape here like this. Sorry, I'm not good into drawing. Right. Okay. Right. And then once done, so if you're already done recording, you created your own design here, and then you are done recording, so just have to click the stop recording. All right. And then to check whether you have recorded, of course, earlier, remember, you just have to type Control Shift R. So I will try Control Shift R. All right. When I type Control Shift R, the recorded macro already appears. If you would like to check the recorded macro, you just have to click the Visual Basic here. And then from here, you just have to click the Module 1. All right. In the module 1, this is the name of the macro that you have specified earlier. These are basically the comments. So we use single quote as comments. So this is the ones I typed. This is my first macro, changing the background to yellow. This I'm Engineer Caldo. And then the keyboard shortcut that you can use Control Shift R. And basically, these are the recorded macro. As you can see, we don't use for loop for the recorded macro, since what I did is just I selected, right? I selected range G5, and then I changed the color to yellow. So this part changes the color. And then I select F6, I select E7, E8, E9, G10, H9, I8. CPEN07H6. Of course, from here, you can easily modify the code. All right. So I'm just teaching you that if some parts, for example, you don't know how to code that specific command that you would like to do, you can actually use the record macro so that you can record. All right. And then since it's already in the module, so similar to what I have taught you last time, so you can actually insert here a shape. So for example, a rectangle shape here. And then say for example, just have to edit this as machine 1 or machine number 2. And then changing the font sizes, so on. Then assign macro, and then select my first macro and then record. That's it. Then click the button. If you would like to record another one, so say for example, another record macro, you just have to simply click here again, record macro, and then a second macro, say for example, and then of course you can no longer use R, so try to use Q, Control Shift Q, and then my second macro, say for example, and then press the button OK. And then what you're gonna do, say for example, is I'll just highlight here, and then I'll change here the color to yellow again, and then try to highlight here, and then change the color to green, and then highlight here, change the color, say for example, to blue, and then of course stop the recording. And then of course you can delete this. You can actually copy here, and then you can edit. All right, then make it 2B, and then assign macro, and then my second macro, and then run. All right. And then, of course, you can check if you would like to further check your design. It automatically creates another sub procedure for my second macro, and then Control Shift Q. And basically, these are just the code in order for you to show the recorded macro. All right. So, what you're gonna do for experiment number 2, you have to record your own design. So, it's up to you what specific design you would like to showcase here. So you just have to record that, and then when you press the button, the design that you have created will be shown, including the code that you have created or the recorded code. So you have to screenshot this one as well and put in your document report for experiment number 2. Alright. So let's move on to experiment number 3. So by the way, experiment number 2 deadline is next week. So you have to finish this by March 12. Experiment number 3 is the following week by probably March 19, but I will explain it now in the interest of time. So this time, you will analyze and modify the recorded macro. So I already teach you how to record the macro. You can do the analysis of the recorded macro by putting some pause or breakpoints. So how am I going to do that, Sir Caldo? So for example, you would like to run this, and you would like to check here. So you just have to put your the toggle and then the breakpoint here. And then when you run, all right, so it goes here already. Then you just have to press F8. F8 yan. So as you can see, it goes down. So you can check already the value, and you can actually visualize some changes also in this part as you run your macro. See, it's running there. So you can actually counter check whether you are actually performing the right code or not. Okay. So for example, I will browse again from here. I will toggle from there. Okay. Then I will run. Then F8. So as you can see the progress. Okay. So this one is the range C6 to L21. Then with selection interior, so this is the ones that Circle is explaining. So it already changes to color yellow. And then when I selected another range, this one, then it changes to another color. So the color setting is here. So it changes to green. And then finally, so it changes to other color like this. So it's blue. And then so on. So from there, Sir Caldo, I can change pala the color from there. So for example, you would like here to just For the purpose of changing the value, let's just try. Okay, what will happen? See, it changes the color. So you just have to know what will be the color um, code for the yellow one or for the brown one. In order for you to do that, if you're not familiar, again, you can do the record, right? So you can easily record. So just have to put here, say for example, the color that you would like, then record that. Then you just have to use the code that to change this part. All right. So that is for experiment number 3, but I have additional instruction here because it's very easy. You just have to do the F8 and then the breakpoint. But it's very handy if you would like to check your macro program. For this experiment, basically, I would like you to create a macro program using if-else statement that will get the final grade of the 10 students by averaging the prelim period or the prelim grade and the midterm grade of the students. The program should be able to classify as to whether the students pass or fail the subject. The fail remark should be in red text color, so red, and the pass remark should be in blue text color. So how are you going to do that? So you can do the record, diba? Then refer to the below table for such allocation. So Sir Caldo, what should I do? Of course, you just have to type everything from serial number 1 to 10 up to the final grade. Alright? Again, type mo lang column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the remarks part is open. Then you just have to use the same values na lang if you would like and the same names. Pwede mo rin po siyang i-modify. You can change the names, you can change the prelim grade and the midterm grade. All right? And then here the open part is the final grade and the remarks because you need to compute for the final grade by getting the average of the prelim grade and the midterm grade. And then you another output is the remarks. You need to put here the fail and then the pass. So how am I going to get the final grade? So you can get the final grade by getting the average of the prelim grade and the midterm grade. So just have to simply get the average of these two columns. And then for the remarks, so if the output is fail, so meaning to say less than 75%, then the remarks here should be automatically fail. And then if pass, then pass. So as of now, you don't know how to do the if else statement. So I will explain it to you now. All right. I have an example. This is basically an if then statement using Excel BBA macro program. Okay. So I will also share this one to you, but in the interest of explanation, so I'm showing you now here. I have here a command button here that will perform the if then statement. So if you would like to add command button here, just have to click here the design mode. All right. And then you can actually insert here whatever command button that you would like to add. Say for example, this one is command button. Click here, then press here. So I now have here a command button. Then you can actually double click here and then you can type here whatever commands that you would like. All right. So in my case, I already have my command button. Forget about option explicit. So this is not essential anyway. So private sub command button 1 clicks. So when I press command button 1, ito yung gagawin niya. So we have here the declaration. So we declare score as integer and we declare the result as string. Again, as you know, integer because numerical values and then string because combination of numbers or text will be the output because our output is either pass or fail. And the integer will be the input values from the user. And then score, the value of score will be the range A1. So this is the range A1. So whatever value here, that will be the value. And then if the score is greater than or equal to 60, then the result will be pass. And then the result pass will be stored in range B1. So meaning to say here, since this is 80, when I press the button command button, then it should display here pass. All right. So I think you can already address this exercise or this experiment, so you can easily judge whether pass. Another is the else statement. So for the else statement, so again, design mode. This time, aside from the if statement, so I now have here another else here. If the score is greater than or equal to 60, then pass. Else, the result will be fail. And the output will be displayed in range B1. So when I press range B1, then it will display fail. Right. Sorry, some students are still joining. All right. So that concludes our if-then statement. So from the if-then statement, I believe you can already do the remarks here. Again, for the color changing, if you would like to change the color of fail, if you would like to change the color of pass, say for example, this one pass, what you're gonna do is you simply have to record because you already know how to record the program. Then you can use the code there and copy that in your experiment number 3. All right. Again, for the final grade, you also have to compute that. I already taught you how to use value for the text box so that you can get the average of the prelim and the midterm grade. So you can embed that as well in the comment button that you're going to create. So let's move on. All right. Okay, I think that's it for now based from here. So you can perform already the machine experiment. Again, for the purpose of explaining again, so you have your list. You just have to type here SN or student or serial number, then the student number, and then name of student, right? And then of course college, program, and subject, and then prelim grade, midterm grade, and then of course the final grade, and then the remarks. All right. Okay. Again, this part from 1 to 10, it should be available already. Okay. This will be your inputs. And then you will create, so for example, a shape here. It's up to you. You can make a shape here as I already explained, or you can make an insertion of ActiveX control command button similar to the um, toolbox that we are using when we use or when we insert a user form. So when you press this button or this button, the final grid will automatically be computed and the remarks will automatically reflect here. Again, for the remarks, if fail, it should be that the text color should change to color red, and if pass, it should change to color blue. All right, so that's the only requirement for experiment number 3. All right, so I will now stop the recording in the interest of convenience for your rewatching, and then I will entertain question now.